You're only 11 years old, you know what I'm saying? But you're making such a deep impact in the game, man. We just want to hit this hype bell and congratulate you first for doing your thing. You got your family in here, support system.
He was everywhere, on stage, on Nickelodeon, headlining his own sitcom. And then, one day, he was gone. Not faded, not washed up, not even disgraced, just gone. We're talking about a total disappearance, the kind that would get the local news crawling if it happened to anyone else. No where are they now nostalgia, just that bottomless crawling silence where a superstar's future should be. Picture it, the boy wonder from Little Rock who had the country in stitches at 11 simply vanishes from the business. For years, no explanation, just a cold vacancy in the spotlight. Like the industry wanted us to forget there ever was a Lil JJ.
Right now, we live on Reach Radio, coming at you with one of the up-and-coming talents that's taken over the industry one song at a time, and he's doing it his way. He's not following all these other waves. He's creating his own pool. So let's give it up for the little homie right here. Got Lil JJ in the building. What's up, bro?
It's not the usual child performer burnout. No tabloid meltdown, no embarrassing mugshots, no tragic accident on set. We remember seeing his face everywhere, hosting sketch comedy, sitcom reruns. Then the phone stopped ringing. Audiences got reruns, not reboots. Meanwhile, the silence thickened, like a missing persons case where nobody files the report. How does a star get erased so thoroughly that even Google struggles to guess where they went? Not with a bang, but with a whimper. And that's what makes it chilling. Someone somewhere shut the door, and nobody wants to say why.
Tell me who your favorite uncle.
Who's my favorite uncle?
Who's your favorite uncle?
It's the Ricky in the building. Real official right now. I'm my uncle too. I'm my favorite uncle.
Okay, you your favorite person, period, huh?
Gotta be.
The unease grows with every year he's off the radar. We know the entertainment machine chews up young talent, but this wasn't scandal or burnout. It was a surgical cut, a blackout. We're left wondering, did he cross the wrong power player, or did he see something he shouldn't have? Was it the business as usual, or was it something much colder? In Hollywood, that kind of silence isn't luck. It's orchestrated. The story begins where so many American legends go off the rails, in a small southern town far from the cameras and the sharks. Halloween 1990, Little Rock, Arkansas. James Charles Lewis III comes into the world, one of those rare kids with a sense of timing, as sharp as his smile. Oldest of four, a family that had no idea what it was raising. By the time he's 8, he's already a local legend. Working rooms packed with adults who came for bingo and left talking about the wisecracking 4th grader who made everyone forget their troubles. Teachers said he was too clever for his own good. Classmates said he was fearless. And parents, they were quietly terrified. What do you do with a boy who outshines every grown-up in the room?
So what would be the first thing you would do if you were to become president? Tell me about that.
Become president, man. What would I do? We gotta listen. Everybody, look, we gotta get some more money in the hood. we gotta put some money in some people's pockets, you know what I'm saying? Because, you got a lot of people that, people gotta eat, you know what I'm saying?
Word spreads. Comedy clubs want to see the miracle child. He's doing grown-up sets before he's tall enough for the mic. Picture a kid riffing on grown-up life, nailing punchlines adults can't pull off. By 9, he's a Little Rock celebrity. The buzz gets louder until in 2003, fate sends a tape of his act to BET's Coming to the Stage. The family can barely afford the trip to LA, but they max out credit cards and take the gamble. Most 11-year-olds are dreaming about bikes. JJ is taking on seasoned comics twice his age on national television. He wipes the floor with them. Adult comedians standing backstage actually root for him because he's just that good. The judges don't just hand him the prize, they hand him a passport to Hollywood. Suddenly, the Lewis phone is blowing up. Local clubs want him, then regional TV wants him. Then, finally, the suits show up from LA, holding out contracts and dollar figures that would make any Arkansas family's jaw drop. It's not the first time we've seen this playbook. Child prodigy, agents promising the moon, parents packing up everything and heading west, only this time, the talent is real and he knows it. James, now going by Lil JJ, insists he's ready. Hollywood says, prove it.
Hi, I'm Charmaine Schaefer, and of course I'm with Black Tree TV, and I'm here with Lil JJ. How you doing tonight?
Doing all right, how you doing? What's up, y'all?
So I see you in all of these videos. What's up with that? Are you going to do an album soon?
Sure enough, right now, you know what I'm saying, I'm currently working on it. I don't want to drop too much information because I don't know exactly. What's up with it.
The grind starts in earnest. The Arkansas safety net is gone. LA is a beast of a different species. JJ isn't just competing with hopefuls. He's up against legacy families, stage mothers, and the Old Boys Network. But he's got something they don't. He's not just memorizing lines. He's rewriting the punchlines, improvising, making the producers nervously scribble notes. He's not just cute, he's effective. By 2005, Nickelodeon takes a real gamble. They put him on All That. the supposed SNL for the preteen set. The show's on the ropes, ratings sliding, executives desperate. Enter Lil J. He doesn't just revive all that, he becomes the show's pulse. He's got a vital information segment that's pure electricity. His bits are crushing it on YouTube before kids even know how to spell algorithm. The network sees numbers, and those numbers have dollar signs attached. At first, they love him. Then, as the story goes, they start to realize he's got ideas. Maybe too many for someone his age. JJ doesn't just want to say the lines, he wants to make them better. He's the rare performer who gets laughs in the read-through, not just the live taping. That's great for the ratings. Unless you're an executive who hates surprises.
And it's so bad because that can cause trauma. That can scar a young kid. But it wouldn't bother me the way a male rubbing up against my daughter would. It just, I don't know why the double standard is that way, but that's just how my brain is wired.
Despite all this, 2007 brings a true rarity. Nickelodeon hands a sitcom to a teenager. Just Jordan isn't just another show. It's built around JJ's personality, with the bones of his own life transplanted onto the screen. The show's got flavor. It's got an actual black family in the lead, rare for Nick. It's got jokes that land, stories that don't pander, and a star who doesn't look like he's pretending to be anyone but himself. 2 seasons, 29 episodes, respectable reviews. And then the strike hits. Here's where it gets dark. The 2007-2008 Writers Guild strike is brutal, a guillotine, not a speed bump. For some shows, it's a reset. For others, it's a devastating outcome. But here's the twist. Plenty of other Nickelodeon stars weathered the storm. Drake and Josh, the show rolls on. Zoe 101, still raking in viewers. iCarly keeps climbing. But Lil JJ, the lights go out. No calls, no backup plan, no we'll bring you back. Instead, he's just gone. The rumors start almost instantly. Whispers in the studio lot, side comments from crew who've seen too much. One ex-staffer claims JJ was too independent, always pushing for script changes, always improvising instead of parroting lines. A manager tells us the phrase on set was, "You can't control him, he's a wild card." In any other business, that's a compliment. In Hollywood, that's the kiss of doom. Compliance is currency, independence is treason. So, the story goes, the moment the strike gave them cover, Nickelodeon pulled the plug and made sure—
And it's a sickening double standard. It's a very sickening double standard. Because I can honestly say, as a father, if a grown man does that to my daughter, oh, I'm getting ready to go to prison. I'm gonna kill you.
And here's where it really chills the blood. After 2008, the industry closes ranks. JJ's phone goes silent. He's not brought back for pilots, not offered new sitcoms, not even a cameo in the growing Nick universe. Some say he's aged out. Others claim his comedy is too smart for kids. But you don't have to be an FBI profiler to smell something off. Other stars with messier resumes kept working. JJ? It's as if someone stamped "Do not resuscitate" on his file.
Growner and older women that I was working with would allow me to do, and I wouldn't dare tell my mom. I wouldn't dare tell her. I wouldn't dare blow up the spot like that. You lady? Huh? Yeah, she can find out now, but I'm grown now. Mom. Whoa, hey, mom, hey.
But I mean,
but it wasn't nothing like off the wall. Like, but it was some old. I won't even say like it was. Don't get me wrong. I wasn't like 7 and 35. Like, but you know what I mean? Like the 19s and 21s. They was, you know what I mean? They was cool, you know.
So what's he supposed to do? He heads back to Arkansas, pledges Omega Sci-Fi, talks about going to film school, cracks jokes in underground clubs while the rest of his generation cycles through reboot after reboot. He's not spiraling out. He's just excluded. Like the industry is running a new game and he's not getting the playbook. It's not just bad luck or bad timing. It's something colder. If you didn't play their game, you didn't play at all.
So don't ask me. That's what you're saying. Don't ask me. My show got canceled because I wasn't with the funny business. So keep your questions over there. Don't come to me about no Nickelodeon, nothing. I don't know. I did 1 season and I was canceled. Bottom line. So I feel like that's what he was trying to get across. Don't come asking me no questions, fishing for information.
Then, like a bomb dropped at midnight, March 2024 arrives. The documentary Quiet on Set, The Dark Side of Kids TV premieres across 2 nights, March 17th and 18th, and the industry holds its breath. What was once whispered in parking lots and green rooms suddenly spills onto screens in high definition hour after hour. The ugly stories stack up like crime scene evidence, each revelation more poisonous than the last. Drake Bell sits before the camera, no longer the punchline from Drake and Josh, but a man naming names and timeframes. He points the finger directly at Brian Peck, the so-called dialogue coach, describing abuse that started when Bell was just 15. It's no longer tabloid rumor, it's on the record, complete with timelines and confessions. The audience watches in horror, wondering how the network's family values brand kept masking this darkness.
Now, Now with JJ, how true do you feel what he was saying in that post he made? I mean, do you think that was him really kind of being real? Like, hey, these things are happening. How did you read that post?
I read it how it was meant to be read. My shit got canceled because I wasn't with the and I never be.
The documentary doesn't stop at one name. It pulls Amanda Bynes out of the history vault, not as the quirky sitcom star, but as a teenage performer in that infamous Amanda's Jacuzzi sketch. There's Dan Schneider, the man behind half of Nickelodeon's hits, sitting fully clothed in a hot tub next to Amanda. Her in a swimsuit, him with a smirk. The whole thing playing out on the air as comedy. It ran for years, marketed as harmless fun, but after everything, we can't unsee it. Corinne Finley Thompson, an editor who worked behind the scenes, tells cameras that she always thought the hot tub bit was odd. We feel the ground shift. It's not just fans side-eyeing the footage. Insiders saw the red flags too, and those flags look less like warnings and more like receipts. The fallout from this conspiracy of silence stretches far beyond a single star. We see it in Amanda Bynes' story, a talent whose career burned white hot before derailing into a high-profile conservatorship in 2013. As old footage of the Jacuzzi sketch is dissected and replayed, we're left staring at clues that were always hiding in plain sight. It's hard to watch now without seeing the discomfort, the odd power dynamics, the tension just beneath the surface. For Bynes and so many others, the show didn't end with credits rolling. The psychological bill for years spent performing, pleasing, and obeying would come due only later. Sometimes as a breakdown splashed across headlines, sometimes as a silent withdrawal from the industry.
He understands. He knows. He's been a part of it as long as I have. And
y'all both kind of did a thing where, you know, in kind of researching JJ's thing, he definitely was knocking him out, and decided to kind of like fall back and kind of go into like I would say like not a regular life. Y'all still won't ever be regular, but just like step back from Hollywood.
The deeper we dig, the more disturbing pattern emerges. This isn't just about one toxic set or a handful of abusers. What we're seeing is the legacy of an entire system built on compliance and the unspoken threat of exile. When young performers stopped being easy, when they questioned storylines or pushed back against uncomfortable situations, the safety net vanished. Some, like Lil JJ, slipped into silence and distance, building new lives outside the camera's glare. Others, like Bynes, found their private struggles dragged through courtrooms and tabloids. Decades after those childhood seasons aired, we're only now recognizing the psychological toll hidden behind laugh tracks and bright studio lights. It begs a troubling question about the price paid by a whole generation raised on the network's golden promises. How many more of Nickelodeon's former stars are living out consequences we failed to see, discarded, sidelined, or broken by an environment that demanded endless smiles and absolute obedience? Instead, communities put our talents into work, creating a character through a set craftsman-level immobile. Lil JJ's refusal to play along may have set him apart, but he's just one survivor of a larger web of lost childhoods and unfinished stories, each shaped by a culture that valued silence above all else. By now, we're knee-deep in survivor allegations. The documentary lingers on stories of forced massages, writers pressured into crossing boundaries for a paycheck, and a toxic culture where jokes meant for grown-ups made it into shows for preteens. The network that once preached innocence is forced to answer for decades of rot. Every coded line and suggestive skit suddenly under the harshest possible light.
that's my brother, Lil JJ, that's my brother. We share a lot of the same views, and we came up in this together. Like, me and Lil JJ, we was living in the same apartment complex at the time, and we both he was on Comic View at the time, and I was just starting to do Tracy Morgan shows. So we was both kind of making our name in the industry around the same time, living in the same complex, like seeing a lot of each other. So that's always been like one of my closest friends.
Facing the firestorm, Dan Schneider's camp launches a counterattack, straight out of the crisis management playbook. They insist everything that happened on the shows Dan ran was carefully scrutinized by dozens of involved adults and approved by the network. If there was an actual problem with the scenes that some people, now years later, are interpreting inappropriately, they would be taken down, but they are not. They are aired constantly, all over the world today still, enjoyed by both kids and parents. It's a neat line, the logic. If it's still airing, it can't be wrong, right? Then, for good measure, they double down. Every day on every set, there were always parents and caregivers and their friends watching filming and rehearsals. Had there been any scenes or outfits that were inappropriate in any way, they would have been flagged and blocked by this multi-layered scrutiny. In other words, nothing to see here, move along. But that's where the tension snaps. On one side, survivors are naming names, producing timelines, and handing over a decade of evidence. On the other, Schneider's camp points to industry sign-offs and parent chaperones. It's a war of receipts. Alleged misconduct against officials, denials, childhood trust against boardroom cover stories. Everyone's suddenly forced to pick a side, and no one gets away clean. As this storm rages, the internet starts combing through the network's old roster, looking for every name left behind in the wave. Amanda Bynes, conservatorship, public unraveling. Drake Bell, on camera, unfiltered. Jeanette McCurdy, memoir, open wounds. But then, almost as if on cue, the forgotten name rises. Lil JJ, the boy who vanished, the only one who hasn't told his story, or so people assume.
You know what I mean? When they have that type of protection around them. I was protected. My mama wasn't playing them type of game with none of these people in Hollywood. You know what I'm saying? It is sad to see that a lot of kids went through that, even some of them being my peers and people that I worked with, and they be like, damn, you was going through that? Like, that's messed up.
Pressure mounts, social media tags pile up. Users demand to know, was he there? Did he see anything? Was he a victim too? The narrative tilts now. Not speaking is treated as suspicious, as the demands for a statement get louder. JJ's silence starts to feel less like a personal boundary and more like a ticking bomb. The industry has moved from neglect to expectation. If you don't out yourself, are you protecting someone? And that's when Lil JJ finally speaks. Not a PR statement, not a weepy Instagram live, but a single cryptic post on Facebook that lands like a grenade. Just Jordan got canceled. I ain't giving up. No lol. We hear it, and for a split second, nobody knows what to do. The laughter sticks in the throat. There's no confession, no tearful reveal, no me too. Instead, it's a denial and a punchline at the same time, a refusal to be drafted into Hollywood's new narrative of pain, even as others line up to share their stories.
I say I'm blessed with a lot of kids. Some people that have more success than me, but their success it wasn't as long lasting because they didn't have the right foundation, or their success came to a crashing, crash and burn type thing because their family wasn't, or they didn't have real people that genuinely loved them and won't.
That post explodes online. Some read it as defiance, a comedian refusing to be boxed in by trauma-peddling headlines. Others call it tone deaf, a slap at those finally feeling safe enough to come forward. Either way, the effect is instant. Suddenly, his entire career freeze-out snaps into focus. If the rumors are true, if Hollywood really does blacklist the non-compliant, then JJ's exile makes a terrible perfect sense. He wasn't erased for being harmed. He was erased for refusing to play along, for declining to be managed, for keeping both his dignity and his silence. Insiders start talking, this time off the record. One former production hand insists JJ always pushed back on lines that felt off, never let grown-ups get too comfortable around him. Another claims he was impossible to intimidate, which, in a studio system that feeds on easy targets, was probably the most dangerous trait of all. It's speculation, but in Tinseltown, that's often the only explanation that fits. You don't get a new show, you don't get called back, your agents lose your number. Allegedly, it's all punishment, and everyone learns to keep their head down, especially if you're not willing to tell the story the way the industry needs it told.
This is, I kind of want to open this up because there's a whole thing going on right now with child actors. You know, the Quiet on Set film, and you did a role at I'm sure you work with Nickelodeon.
I did Just Jordan, I did True Jackson, I did Keke Palmer and JJ show on Nickelodeon.
What was your reaction to hearing those stories? And I gotta ask, did you have any similar stories when it came to that particular environment?
So here we are, decades later, connecting the dots in real time. Little JJ didn't just refuse to conform on set, he refused to let the narrative shape him off set too. Hollywood has always rewarded silence about abuse, about power, about what really goes on when the lights turn off. But what do they do to the ones who refuse to play the victim? Sometimes the industry's punishment is as simple as obscurity. The message is unmistakable. You can have a platform or you can have a backbone, never both. Now the only thing louder than the original silence is the conversation his post has started. Fans debate, critics dissect, and the industry does what it always does, waits for the next story to bury the last one. In this town, silence isn't just golden, it's survival. But what happens to the ones who refuse to stay quiet? Think you know the real reason stars vanish from the screen? Or do you believe there's a darker game at play? One where speaking out, or even refusing to play along, means you disappear for good. Drop your take in the comments, because this story is far from over. Until next time, stay sharp, stay curious, and never trust the silence.